We are in this together. You got
Yes,
this.
yes. I appreciate you, Ayana.
You're welcome.
Okay,
No problem. Oh,
oh good.
child.
We pivot, we stay flexible. That's what we do.
I,
We're moms, and
I appreciate it.
we'll talk, we'll talk. All right, so welcome to ReHuman Podcast, featuring the amazing Miss Ayana Bean. She's done so much. It's Women's History Month, so I'll let her speak for herself. But I'm just already extremely impressed by everything I've discovered about her, the journey that she's been on, the work that she continues to do in this world, and um, please, Miss Ayana Bean, please let the world know about you.
Oh my goodness. How long you got, girl?
We got a minute, So some of them might have caught you on BET, But I'm not, I don't want to tell your story for you, but I'm just so excited to have you here.
I'm excited to be here, and I really appreciate being able to connect with you. I'm as well inspired and motivated and a fan of what you're doing. So I just want you to know that too. So I'm recognizing you this Women's History Month just as well. So we're in this together. We do this together. My name is Ayana Bean. Let me do this. So I want to get used to saying my name is Dr. Ayana Bean.
I know,
right?
that's right. Yes, doctor.
I want to start getting used to saying that. And I'm a philanthropist. I am a founder of the A Year and a Day Foundation out of Massachusetts. I am an alumni of the VET American Gangster Trap Queens series, season 1, episode 7. I'm also a best-selling author. Boy, I wear many hats, but I'm really just grateful and happy to be able to be invited into spaces in which I can continue to pivot and learn from, and to inspire. I hope to do that. One of my greatest projects that I'm working on right now is actually in partnership with another one of my Tribe Queen sisters, Dr. Jamila T. Davis. We are working. This is our second cohort of youth entrepreneurs, and so she does the work out in New Jersey and some other states, and the curriculum that she has we are now doing here in Massachusetts. And this is the second cohort that we've had, and we just got awarded for a third cohort for the summer. So I'm excited to do this work with our youth, and getting them to see that there's other things in the world other than just being out in the street, but that they can actually accomplish something, create something, and be compensated for that.
Absolutely.
And so I'm excited about it
so much. Yes. And so I was introduced to you through the youth program, through amazing the Supreme Hassan, and he felt like there were so many intersections of what you're doing in our new project Phoenix. And so I'm so excited to learn about your work and the curriculum and build with you all. Please let us know, let's put some respect on it. Dr. Ayana Bean. Let us know, when all that transpired, about these new levels that you're achieving, please.
I received an honorary doctorate last year, and around this time last year, I think in February, yes. And I am super excited. And the reason why, there's this stigma around having honorary doctorates, right? I think there was a conversation I saw on the Breakfast Club before where it was like it's a fake degree. And, I think what we do is that people that come from the space of the informally incarcerated or a lived experience of incarceration, with there being so many marks against you, like you have to go through background checks, your query, your record, and now it keeps you out of a lot of opportunities. Mm-hmm. And so what you want to do is you want to build on top of that, right? Yeah. And so that's not the only thing that someone sees you as. And so I felt like, I have a lived experience, and you can't learn that in school, right?
Yeah.
And I was very honored to receive an honorary doctorate for my lived experience and my work that I do in the community of formerly incarcerated. And I work very hard, and I'm very passionate about letting everyone know that having a quarry or a mark against you does not mean that you should be prevented from having a stable, normal life. It doesn't. It shouldn't carry you forever. And so I feel as though that it's very important to continue to do the work. It's important for you to keep moving forward. And there's going to be challenges, there's going to be doors that close, but you can open those doors. We There shouldn't be a punishment for making mistakes. Some people make mistakes that are larger than the ones that you'll ever imagine, and they've never faced these issues, right?
Exactly.
They've never
Exactly.
faced these challenges. They never will. I mean, we have a president in office right now, right? That is a convicted felon,
Mm-hmm.
right? So then why should we feel any less? And
Yep.
we should
Yep.
not. It's not a crime to go out and get a job. It's not a crime for a corporation or company to hire someone who has a conviction. But what is, and it's not a public safety matter,
Mm-hmm.
right? It doesn't, there's no harm coming to you if someone's looking for employment. There's
Yep.
harm coming to you when someone's not looking for employment,
And when you
because
refuse them
now you
employment,
are, exactly,
yep,
because you are now
absolutely.
their employment, you are their job. So we don't want to do things that are
Yeah,
easy.
yeah, that's real.
We don't
I mean,
want to.
you said
This
that
is
so well,
true.
doctor. I'm trying to tell you, you said that so well. They're coming for you. You won't let
They
them.
will.
They can't. If they
What?
can't live a quality of life, they can't achieve quality of life. If we can't eventually have a good life, we have no hope. We're coming for you. Why are
Right?
we
It's gonna
supposed to
be
behave
easy.
ourselves just so you're safe? So I feel
Right.
you. Like you are their job. I love that. Yes.
Right. And we have to really, I think that employers should be accountable to some extent for
Mm-hmm.
the process that they use, because it's more so like hiding behind something, because there's
Mm-hmm.
no there's no reason why someone can't come in to start somewhere in your company,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So I'm not good enough to be a janitor, I'm not good enough to be the mail guy. Like, what do you think I can't do? Why can't I do these things? And you
Yes.
can, because there's people in positions that aren't qualified for those positions in the
Yep.
first place. So they have
Mm-hmm.
them because
The
they
barriers to
can.
entries. Yeah, yeah. I love it's so
Absolutely.
many things that you said that I want to speak on. One, I think is
Mm-hmm.
extremely honorable.
Mm-hmm.
Your degree, your honorary degree, I feel like it's
Mm-hmm.
extremely honorable because it's not
Mm-hmm.
like it's given to someone who's not deserving. You're a genius. Like I've seen your journey. I've
Thank
heard
you.
about, your education, the way you present yourself, everything, the things that
Mm-hmm.
you've been through. Like even what look, I got kids back here, so trust me, I understand. I have five children, 1 to
Oh my
19 now.
God,
My
God
my
bless
oldest
you.
just turned thank you. My oldest turned 19 yesterday. So and
Woo.
my 1 year old turned one like 2 weeks ago, or a month ago now. But anyway,
Wow.
but yeah, so I totally understand. It's always something going on. And but what I wanted
I'm
to say is
I'm
even
throwing
the
markers so that someone can close the door. So I'm throwing the markers so they can close.
I know that's right. But no, I was going to say that even the circumstances which led to your incarceration to me was
Mm-hmm.
like you're a mastermind. You know what I'm saying? I run a
Ooh.
mastermind cooperative. Like you're a mastermind. Like the way you thought things out, the way you made things happen that you felt like would benefit your community.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, like people from other places in the world, from other communities, do the same type of things, and they're rewarded for it because of the privileges they have. Like they're able
Right.
to find loopholes, they're able to make these things happen, and like nepotism and all these things, and having these contracts that go on for years
Right.
and decades, like all kind of things, like embezzling hundreds of millions of dollars over years,
Mm-hmm.
and they want to crack down on somebody that's basically just uplifting your community less than you know what I'm saying? Like, and then
Right.
they want to hold you back through life and give you these lifetime sentences where I can't even after I've served my time, I can't even achieve a good life. Like I've already
Right.
done so much. So I think that it's amazing. I think it's amazing that you've gotten your doctorate, you're building these organizations, you got the third
Mm-hmm.
cohort going on, you're getting these fundings, you're doing things the quote
Yeah.
unquote right way. But
Right.
I think that you were doing what you felt like you had to do to uplift your community to begin
Right.
with. Like the
Right.
intentions were good, and
Right.
I mean you're a genius anyway.
I
So
appreciate that.
no, of course, and all
Thank
that
you.
said, even what you were saying about not employing people that have been formerly incarcerated. Like I always say, that's a matter of national security. How do you continue to hold back these talent pools
Mm-hmm.
that are domestic, U.S. citizens, people with transferable skills, people with high level intelligence, a
Right.
high degree of loyalty? Like I was working in a job and we were sourcing clear candidates, and I'm like, why
Mm-hmm.
can't people that have been incarcerated get these clearances? Oh,
Right.
because they might sell out. They might have issues with integrity, and they might sell out secrets to. This is what higher ups are telling me, not
Yeah.
knowing that I'm a felon. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But like this is
Right.
what they're telling me. But I'm like, at the end of the day, like we know when you're working in organized crime or different things. Like there's a degree of loyalty. Like
There's a degree of
there's certain
loyalty.
things that you can't say. There's things of operating. Like the people
Mm-hmm.
that are out here selling government secrets, They're not
Yeah.
people that come from our communities. They're
Right.
people that look like y'all. Like they're
Right.
people that just help
Right.
with their
Like,
kids to
what's the
college and
difference?
things. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all are already doing these things. Don't just
Right.
assume that people that already know how to work under systems of honor. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Under honor
Right.
codes and how loyalty. We know how much loyalty means to people in our
Mm-hmm.
communities and people that
Right.
operate, within those type of organizations. Like we know
Right.
that there's codes
We
there.
do. It's code.
Exactly.
And
So
one thing that you said was about someone's integrity. And this is the thing. We are all different people.
mm-hmm.
Something that I would do, you wouldn't dare to do.
Yep.
Something you would do, I wouldn't dare to do. So everyone's integrity could always be questioned because we're
Yep.
different people and we think differently. And
Yep.
so, that is something to really think about when you talk about, as you say, rehumanizing people.
Yep. They point at penis with a broad brush, like, oh, felon.
Mm-hmm.
Like we all
Right.
doing
Oh,
the same
felon.
thing. We're
Right.
all
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I remember, all the challenges that I faced. Like I came from being a professional background. I was a financial aid advisor. I was student loan management. I was a account manager. I did all these different things, right? I was smarter than the choices that I made. And that's the regret and that's the disappointing factor, right? Because I could have done a lot other things that would have never landed me in the position that I placed myself in. There was a better way. But in our communities, we're always in survival mode. So you can't see a better way that will happen fast enough for you to survive today.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And that's another important factor. And these aren't excuses. This is just reality, and it is what it is. Yep. They're absolute facts. We're always in survival mode in our communities.
I often say though, like the mistake that I made that I felt like was so devastating, 12 or so years ago, like I felt like I would not be where I am today had those chain of events not like. So tell me about that. How do you feel if you were to continue to be working in financial aid, and things like that? How do you feel like, what would that look like as opposed to where you are right now had you not have served that time and gone through that process?
Oh my goodness. I think that I would be a bored little lady.
You think there's something.
And I don't think that, I think that if I just stayed in one, like I'm a person who I just can't do one thing. If I'm going to be working, I'm always going to be doing something else to do something. I just know that there's more to life.
Yeah.
Right. And so being in one position, I would do the same rigmarole that everyone else does. I'm going to get into this position here and work my way up to there. And then, the glass ceiling, I can't go further than this. No, I want to go sky high. I want to go sky high. I don't want to just know 50 states. I want to know all the countries. I want to have knowledge of things. I want to be on this earth and I want to know that I have made life worth it for myself and for my family. And, one of the things that you said is that, there's people in positions who just pass down that same position to their whole family. And we see that in Massachusetts all the time.
I can
the
imagine,
same family name will be on these contracts forever. Now, we're not saying that nobody knows anything, but what I'm saying to you is that it's passed down. They didn't have to earn that. Their family, whatever their great, 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 great grandfather did, this stays in their family. And who knows if the people, everything that's passed down, you don't even want some of that stuff, right? So you got people just in position because they understand that it is important and that there's a structure when you pass down things to your generation, to your family. There's wealth there. There's wealth and assets. In our families, which most of us experience in our communities is, well, if grandma owns a home and she passes away, the home could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Well, none of the kids want to be in the home. They want the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so now your legacy, your wealth, and your assets that was created in your family now goes away for you to get a couple of dollars. And then you have nothing to pass down because then that'll be gone shortly.
Yeah,
because we're not doing anything to grow.
Yeah,
exactly. And
we want the money.
We want the money. In our in our community, that's what happens. But you will see in other communities, not only do they own properties that are from the 1800s, they have more properties that they continue. And this is where their wealth comes from. They start building their wealth from there. They use, life insurance policies and so forth, just products and tools that we didn't have access to in those times. But we can learn those things today and we can start somewhere.
Understood. And I think that is like what we're actively, people like you and I and others that we work with are actively trying to build and to change those mindsets and to establish those new systems or even
Right.
bring back, old systems that have been forgotten
Yeah.
about.
Yes, a
So
lot has been forgotten.
yeah, yeah. If you don't mind, would you mind taking me back prior to
Hmm.
your incarceration? What were some of the things, and this is what really excited me about your story. What are some of the things that you were able to do for your community that ended you up in that situation? Like, but when you had those sources of income and like
Yeah.
what are some of those exciting times? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how was
You
life
know,
at that time?
it's scary. It was it's like you're doing something wrong. It's hard to really feel great about it all the time,
Yeah.
right? I had some great experiences. I was able to um put together events. I tried to use things as an outlet for
Hmm.
what my reality in life actually was. And so I understand that now, right? I wanted to, I was getting into artist management, entertainment
Hmm.
world, and I was learning about that. And I thought, oh, well, I'm going to bring this information back and create something here where I live because I
Hmm.
was using this money going other places
Hmm.
to get this information to build these connections. And so I wanted to do that here in my own city. And I always hear and I always know that was just way ahead of my time because that stuff is just now getting started really here. And I was doing it then. And I'm not saying I was the only one, but I made an impact and I made a name. People know me for that. Right.
Yeah.
Um, Not only did I just do that for myself, but when I would go somewhere, I had two children. They are coming with me to these things. They're also learning these things. So they were gaining knowledge at a very young age and being exposed to things at a very young age that wouldn't have happened if we weren't. What would have what what they also were exposed to was substance use disorder in
Okay.
the home and violence and all types of disparities, right? So I tried to cover those things up by giving them other experiences as well. And again, that's not to say that was the stupidest way, and I know how to say that to myself. And yes, it was not very smart to do, and I was much smarter than my decisions. But
Absolutely.
again, survival mode stays on, and whatever's going to come right now, I'm going to do that. The longevity of things, I couldn't see that. I couldn't see that I would last beyond that.
Yes. But a lot of those connections and things that you were able to build during that time, they
Mm-hmm.
still live,
Yeah,
right? You're
they
able.
still do. Right. It was so funny because no one ever knew. It's not like something that I advertised,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So they say, sweet little Ayana, where did she go? She's probably off somewhere doing this or that. And then I remember when I had to make the phone calls to say, hey, I want you to, I never talked to anyone while I was away. So if they would call and looking for me through, my family or other friends, they'd be like, "Oh, I haven't heard from her in a minute. She's been, her. She's always off doing something,
Hmm.
right?" And so when I contacted them to like, "Wait, you want to interview on BET for this and that?" They're like, "Oh, of course, yes, girl. I'm so happy for you." And I was like, "For what? Like, you did what? How did we know that?" And it's
Okay.
because
Okay.
I wouldn't want anyone to know that. If I was doing something so great, I wouldn't have been ashamed to let everyone know, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that's another telltale sign of how I knew what I was doing was not right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's real. That's real. Thank you
Hmm.
for sharing that. Thank you for
No
sharing that to
problem.
give people a perspective. Like, while it may seem glamorous, at the end of the day, like those feelings, the guilt is still
Hmm.
there. Um,
Yes, yes.
can you tell us a bit about A Year and a Day, the foundation, the book?
Oh my
You know.
goodness. So I what's great about you asking me this is that I was asked this question today, if I could answer this question. And I thought, wow, it's been happening all week though. So this is something I really must have to continue to face and remember. It was what was a pivotal change point in your life? It was going to federal prison.
Hmm.
Now, I had gone two times. So federal prison was the last one, but the first time was back in 2005 or 6. That was my first case actually. And then just shy of 10 years later, I was in this other situation. So the pivotal point was that process of being federally charged with something, going through the process of having everything frozen and, not having any means or support to do anything at all. Um, the processing time of,
Mm-hmm.
how long that takes up the space in your life, not knowing, can I do this? Can I do that? Where can I, not knowing that stuff really was so traumatic and stressful. Um, but when I got to Lexington, Lexington, Kentucky was where
Okay.
at the prison camp where I did my Atwood camp is where I went. I remember walking in the doors and I was afraid. There's no, I don't know who's not, but you're
Mm-hmm.
going into a federal compound. You don't know what's on the other side of those doors. And so, prior to getting there, I just, I prayed a lot. And, on my bus ride, I was a self surrender. So I prayed a lot and I just asked God to give me the strength to go through this situation and to give and let it bring me peace.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time that I got to that door, I was in peace. I wasn't fearful, but I was afraid.
Mm-hmm.
And when that door, well, the door already was open. So that's another thing. The door is a camp. There weren't like, it was a different environment. So there wasn't a lot of COs walking around. There wasn't a lot of that. The front door was open. I was thinking, oh my God, what if somebody snitched and someone comes here looking for them? That was my fear,
Mm-hmm.
right? The doors are open. Everybody's just walking around, the inmates driving cars. What is this? You know?
Yeah.
So that was an eye-opening experience for me. But what I will say is that quite different from what we are featured as in different, you know, uh, films or movies and things like that. When I walked in the door, there were just women that, of course you get the stares and the looks, but there was another group of women that they saw me, they went to their rooms, they got put their, food and clothes and sneakers and things together, and they welcomed me there, right? And they welcomed me and they, you want me to show you around, this is what, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And and that's not ever shown to us in movies or on TV shows. We're
Yep.
shown violent parts, and we're forever going to be branded as violent because of the place that we go,
Yep.
or that where we visited, right? But I always want to tell people that was never my experience.
Yep.
Yes, I've seen things, I heard things, or whatever it is, but when I walked in that door, I was welcomed.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I'm not going to say it's just for women. When you talk to some men that have gone in there, people came to make sure I was straight for, they know the experience. You come in here, it's going to take a while before you can get anything. But there's people who will welcome you because they know what you're about to experience.
Yep. There is community there.
There is
A lot of people
community.
don't talk about that because I know, like, I
Yeah.
didn't spend long. I was in Cook County Jail,
Mm-hmm.
and during my time there, I realized that some of the most beautiful people I have ever met in my life I've
Right.
met while incarcerated. Not
Mm-hmm.
pretentious. No one has anything. We're all there
Right.
down to nothing, and
Right.
it just wasn't like a lot of the not really say the real world, but like a lot of times it's the
Yeah.
fake world. Like people are so fake. They
Right.
get these job titles and houses and cars. In there, no one has nothing. Like you are who you sit at the
Raw.
table. We play cards with.
Mm-hmm.
You take showers with. You go to
Yeah.
you bed down with. Like these, we're all here. We're all stripped down
Yeah.
to be. It's the essence of who we are.
Right.
And
Right.
so
The
yeah,
very raw
that's
piece
so
of
real.
yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. The very raw piece of yourself. And so that is, that's what my experience was. And I took that time to make sure that I was getting to know why I may continue to make decisions like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so knowing that, I mean, I walked in there and I knew that before I got there, I needed to work on something.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that something was me, not who I am for this person, who I am for this place, or who I am for that world, but who I am for me.
Yes.
And I just started on that journey there. I said, girl, I know where I'm at. I didn't say that I was in no prison camp. I'm over here at Gail and Oprah's yoga camp.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Yeah.
gonna be here and I'm gonna be in peace.
Yeah.
I only was involved in church and the gym. I had two jobs when I was there. I got my job the very next day. My first job was in the kitchen. I said like 2 months after that, a young lady was leaving and she came to me and she said, "Hey, I think I'm leaving. They're looking for another person who can go over to the men's prison because it's right there. And I think that, they want someone that's, good person, not no problems with them." And she said, and I told them, I gave them your name. And I didn't know the lady.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know her. but she said, I think it would be good for you. And I said, well, why did we able to keep the other job? you know? So I was doing both.
Yeah,
I
you
kept
felt the
myself
spirit.
busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I kept myself busy, and I think that when you're removed outside of, running circles around yourself, that's what you should be doing, taking time to figure out
Hmm.
how you got there,
Yeah.
figure out who you are, where you're going, where you want to be. You can't leave here. You can't do all this crazy stuff or just sit here idly, like just letting things happen and then be released and then say, I'm going to start working on me. No, you have to do the work and the job of that before you are released. Because by the time that you're released, you're just going to go back to whatever it was before you got there.
Yeah. It's like sounds like God sat you down.
Oh yeah,
God
definitely
sat you
picked me up
down.
right
Yep.
by my shoulder. He picked me up just like this.
Like a dad.
So
Like
girl, girl,
yep.
you better go. You go. I got somewhere for you to go sit down.
Mhm. Mhm. I wrote a book
Absolutely.
about my experience, and I was like, I felt like, and so what you're saying is so relevant to this is like, I felt like you can't pass that test in life until the lesson is learned. So you're going to like either stay where you are, you're going to repeat that same
Mm-hmm.
situation. You have to really internalize the lesson that landed you into that situation. And then when it's learned, then
Absolutely.
you could transcend and move on to the
Mm-hmm.
next level of life, like
Mm-hmm.
literally like grade school. So
Yep.
I love that you're saying that, and that really resonates with me, and hopefully those that are watching you.
Yeah.
Um, and so when you developed the Year and a Day Foundation,
Mm-hmm.
that's primarily to support women that are reentering society and such.
So, with the A Year and a Day Foundation, which hence is the name of the organization as well as my memoir, and that was also my federal prison sentence with A Year and a Day, and so I associate that title with that because that's where I went on this journey to learn. And I've always been a person that was into education. And so I wanted, and then when I was released, challenge after challenge, I couldn't get, can't get this job, can't get this or that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to use it to, I didn't want to use, I wanted to use the experience as something, a foundation, a standing stoop for those who have experienced that, can understand that I know exactly what you mean. I want to provide resources for those that are facing those challenges. And I didn't know exactly what. And even to this day, it grows something new each
Yeah.
time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's what it's supposed to do. I'm supposed to continue to learn and grow and align all of that together. And
Yeah.
I want to give back. I want to give back. I want to give to people. There wasn't anyone who, like I told you, was welcoming to me when I went into Atwood prison camp. When you come home, who's welcoming you?
Mm-hmm.
You may have been a person who experienced domestic violence, and you got to go back to that same home because you have nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
You can't get it. You're on somebody's couch. You can't get a job, or you got to go work at McDonald's or do something like that because all they make you feel like is that you can't
You are
do
saying
anything
the
better than
things.
this.
You are
You
saying
know,
the things. Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
And I'm not gonna. And I have never accepted no, and you can't. Well,
Mm-hmm.
it's not no, you can't do it. To me, it's well, it can get done. It's about how it can get done,
It's
not
gonna
that
get
it
done.
can.
It's
It's
gonna
gonna
get
get
done.
done, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to get done. It's just a matter of how, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I don't have to, so to speak, wait on others, but I'm gonna continue to build and create something where even if I don't have nothing, right?
Yes.
What I have is me. And I know that
Yep.
a conversation with another person who is experienced what I've experienced, that goes a long way.
Yes.
Because you come home to families that don't know what you, first of all, they might be aggravated. They had to send you this money, all the time. They're going through their own thing too.
Mm-hmm.
And then here you come with yourself and you can't get no job and you can't, it's like, and no one wants to feel dependent upon anyone else either. And we shouldn't have to feel that way after we've gone ahead and paid for what we've done. We shouldn't have to continue to pay for that for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
And so through A Year and a Day Foundation, I partner with other organizations. I'm building community with employers that will hire. Right now, the big word with corporations are second chance hiring.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why do we have second chance hiring? Why are corporations interested in that now? We know why. Because when COVID happened, not a lot of people are returning back to work. And so now they're like, oh my God, nobody's working here. We're losing our numbers. We can't get anyone to do this particular job. Well, look at this. All of these people.
Not to mention immigration now, right?
They're being blacked out because they have a quarry problem. They have lived experience of incarceration. You wouldn't hire them, but now you need to hire them.
Yep.
So now we talk about second chance hiring and giving people another chance.
We are the solution. We would have been the solution to begin with if they wouldn't have blocked us from achieving good lives to begin with. So many of us would have never made those decisions that landed us into incarceration for financial-based crimes. So how about we just go and address those root causes? And if we didn't do it earlier, let's start doing it now. Call it what you want: workforce development, workforce replacement,
whatever it is,
chance hiring, whatever. Let's get us employed. Let's build these systems. And if it's not about employment, like you and I are doing, let's focus on entrepreneurship. I'm even interested in helping people to build their own nonprofits, because we know as nonprofit leaders, you may not have the full vision right now, especially as a small startup nonprofit. It is evolving, because as founders, we're also evolving. And not only are we evolving, the total needs of our community is evolving. The economy is evolving. So we can't have a solution. We can have a solution in 2019 that we know doesn't fit in 2024. We know for a fact, because the world has changed drastically in 2020. So we have
it's changed drastically in the past month.
In the past month, this year, like, what do you mean? People don't even know where their funding is coming from. People being laid off left and right. Like, you've been working there for 20 years, like. So we know emphasis on efficiency, a decrease of focus on DEI when it comes to federal funding. It's like, we literally have to stay on our toes and constantly pivot when it comes to our programs. And so what you're saying is so powerful, because people don't understand, like, these conversations, especially with family and friends, but someone listening understands how it is to run an organization, especially a startup. So I think that is extremely valuable information that you're providing.
I appreciate that. So it's work.
I'm so excited to learn more about you. You might have to do a part 2, because I done had you on here for like a half an hour already. I want to know more about your kids. Let's pose on this.
Okay.
What is your vision for the future? Like, what is Dr. Ayana going to do for the future? What can we expect from you next? The baby's like, I just wish I could just give it to me.
I want you to know that the vision that I see for myself. I once thought it was like, I want to make a learning center for those that, have the lived experience or are directly or indirectly affected. Yeah. But you know what? Why couldn't I have a school? Why wouldn't there be a school
or a campus? I'm always talking about a campus.
Why not? Why couldn't there be that? And so I was just, I had been thinking about that, but it's hard to say for people like us. It's like, but can you see that? Because we have imposter syndrome like crazy.
Not no
we
more.
Always feel like, I don't belong in this room or that room or this or that. And it's like, you do. And actually, the room was created because of you.
There's no one more competent in the room, is one thing that I've learned. There's no one more competent. We've been made for this. Generationally, we've been made for this. We've done things the wrong way with the genius that we have. We've tried to find solutions. But nowadays, with the share economy, like, doors are wide open. The playing field is level. Once we shed that imposter syndrome, there is nothing that we can't do.
Right. I despise the term DEI, because I'm like, I said, listen, let me tell you something. DEI, no, that's a word that that they wanted to add for some document. I'm going to tell you, my people, my community, we've been doing DIY since before our grandparents. We've been doing it ourselves. You didn't open that door for us. You had to open the door, because we made you open that door by being noticed on what we were already doing. So when we talk about crime in other cities going down and stuff like that, you know why those numbers are going down? It's because there's organizations that are run by people with lived experience that know how to talk to and know how to reach out and know what is actually needed for real. And they don't wait on funding to get it done. We don't wait on the money. We do the DIY, right? So you can list DEI all you want. We don't even I'm sorry, sir. That does not. I didn't know that word. I get when I do something, when something is open for me, it's because of the work that I've done. It's because of the knowledge that I have. It's because of who I am as a person. It's not because it says you have to have this amount of people. No, it's not, because that's not what DEI was made for. DEI was made for you not to discriminate against someone who if you got 3 resumes, one says Allison, one says Ayana, one says Keisha, you just go ahead and put them on the 2 in the trash. That is what it's made for. That is why it was created in the first place. Not because you had to, so that you could not ignore people who are more deserving than Allison, who are more educated than Allison, who have more experience than Allison, but you just chose her because of who she was.
I love that. I love it. And meanwhile, Allison, you know, like we have the transferable skills. Meanwhile, Allison then took the trash out once off and said that she didn't put her resume receptacle management specialist. You know what I'm saying? Like, meanwhile, like, I mean, we've been building trash cans.
Right.
Our practices and make this, they're not even going to apply. Meanwhile, she took the trash out once. So, you know, I'm not trying to get too political, but you know, I mean, you're saying
but we are on the same page.
Yeah,
and all of us
who
have
do this
lived
in person
that.
Next time. We're gonna do this in person.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for your time, Dr. Ayana. Is there anything else that you want to share? I mean, your website, please. How can we find you? How can we support you here in the Day Foundation?
Yes, absolutely. So the website is www.ayearandaday.foundation, just like it's spelled AYEARANDDAY foundation.org. That is the website. So you can go. I know I need to update it, but you can go there and you can go there and see the things that we have done over the past 2 years. My social media, I'm always active on there. A Year in a Day Foundation is my Instagram handle for the organization. Miss Dot with a period, Miss period there. Ayana Bean is my Instagram, my personal one, but my business stuff is on there as well. And that would be my social media handle across the board: Facebook, Twitter, all those lines, and the same as on LinkedIn. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Ayana. We have been blessed by your message, and I'm so excited to connect with you again. To inspire more folks. And thank you. I appreciate you. Sending you so much love to you and your tribe.
I thank you. You're a part of my tribe, and I'm a part of yours now. And we are locked in. And I can't wait to see your growth and what you're doing. And we come together and do some great things together as well.
Thank you so much. You have an amazing weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.